Hello everyone, my name is Yara and today is a big day because the Shadow and Bone trailer just dropped. Actually not just dropped, it dropped like many hours ago. It's very late at night right now. And I don't want to be a liar, so I'm gonna say I've seen it. But we're still gonna react to it today and we're gonna discuss it because I feel like there's a lot in it that we can talk about.
The shadow fold. A scar on the map that tore our country in two.
What the hell are you doing here?
This trailer music is so intense.
Promise.
That's exactly how I imagine the boats in the sand looked like.
We need a miracle.
Oh my god. The Volcra looks like the Demigorgon from Stranger Things.
So who actually saw what happened?
Ben Barnes as the Darkling is so good.
And then there was a searing light.
Lift up your sleeve.
What are you?
The Sun Summoner! This is like exactly how I imagine that camp to look like. The crows! An edge.
Answer the question. What are you?
A map maker, sir.
Our map maker? Well, you and I are going to change the world.
That was so good. Literally exceeded all of my expectations. I was really scared. For a hot second, I was really scared they were gonna mess this up. I mean, we don't know yet. We don't know. Leigh Bardugo said that this is like very high budget fan fiction, so we probably can't expect the most accurate, but at least from the trailer, you can tell that the main story is there. So let's go back. Let's go through so it's not actually exactly how I imagined the Shadowfold. I don't really know how I imagined it looking like when you are just about to enter it, but this makes sense. I can get with this. And definitely that's how I imagined the sand boats to look like. I will say I feel like if you didn't know about Shadow and Bone, you wouldn't have no idea what this is about. I guess you would get the impression that there's something that's dark and that she can summon light. Which I guess is what you know when you enter the book. It's kind of hard to tell being so far removed from the point where I didn't read the book. Then we have this interaction with Mal and Alina. To be honest, I don't really remember why she wanted to go into the fold. And I love how the Darkling is narrating this. The way that they're setting up the Darkling is actually really good, because I feel like in this and in the book as well, you're never quite sure that the Darkling is perfectly good. You know there's something, like he's suspicious, and I think they conveyed that really well here. In this shot, Mal has a gun when the Volcra is coming. I don't remember, do they have guns in this series? Actually, I'm so dumb. Jesper is a sharpshooter, so there's definitely guns. Okay, that Volcra was 10 times scarier than what I imagined. Oh, I didn't notice that. The thing that sparks the light is when the Volcra carries Mal. That's from the book, but I didn't notice it the first time I watched this. I'm telling you, this seems pretty accurate so far. I wonder what they're gonna change about it. I'm really curious now. I don't know what this nail thing is that the Darkling has. If I remember correctly in the book, he just kind of holds her hand, right? And he can sense if she's a Grisha. That's also exactly how I imagined the carriage to look like. See, this frame confused me. I don't know exactly what it's referring to. I think it's Fjerda versus Ravka because we're in the snow. And then there's an Inferni who's summoning fire. Now this frame with Genya. What confused me in the stills too is that Genya doesn't have a scar. I believe she had a scar to begin with. I'm pretty sure she does because Alina notices that right away when she meets her. So I'm wondering if they're gonna show her getting the scar in the show. Okay, then this scene is when we get into the crows. So we're probably in some sort of like tavern, and there's like some Grisha putting on a show. The first of the crows we see is Jesper. He definitely embodies the character really well, like that sly, flirtatious personality. Oh, I didn't notice that either. He throws a coin then shoots it because he's a sharpshooter. Then we have Kaz and his cane, of course. I imagined it would be black, not gold, but I'm not mad at it. Something that I'm noticing is that none of these characters look like teenagers. And I mean, I noticed that too when the cast was announced. Alina and Inej could maybe pass for 18. Kaz looks at least 22. I would even push it to like mid-20s. So does Jesper. Then we have a scene of Inej coming down from a rope. I feel like this is gonna be the scene where they steal from Van Eck's house. I believe it was Van Eck's house where they steal that painting. Or whatever story they talked about that they did in the past. Oh my god, Inej is exactly how I imagined her. Amina Sumin is exactly how I imagined Inej. Ooh, okay. I didn't notice this scene either. We have another shot of soldiers. I believe these are Rovkin soldiers because it looks like they did something with an element. Yeah, it's a squalor, the wind. This shot with the Darkling and Alina. Alina looks in distress. I'm not really sure what direction they're gonna go with the Darkling. In the book, I feel like it was a bit half and half where to an extent you kind of believed that the Darkling cared for Alina and in a romantic way, hence why there's Darklina shippers. And you also got the sense that Alina trusted him too. Whereas here you can clearly see that she's scared. So I'm wondering if they're just gonna go the route of keeping him a villain. There's a brief shot of, I think, Jesper shooting someone, but I don't know what. Then we have Kaz in his fedora in the streets of Ketterdam. And then the scene with Mal and Alina looking up at each other emotionally. So I'm pretty sure that's the scene near the end of the book when they reunite, right before they find the stag. They're such quick shots, I can't see what they are. The scene right after that, someone throws an arrow, or someone shoots an arrow. Oh, it's Inej! It's Inej! She blocked it with her blade. Queen! Oh, I forgot. A change they made was that Alina is half Shu. I don't know what direction they're taking it. I'm assuming it's gonna have something to do with her backstory. You know, I honestly don't remember what happened to her parents. Like, I know she's an orphan, but like, do we ever know? But if we know that at least one of her parents is Shu, that introduces a whole different dynamic because the Shu are the people who do experiments on Grisha. So I wonder, are they gonna go in direction of like her parents fled Shuhan because they saw that she was Grisha or had Grisha ability? Or that one of her parents was a Shuhan scientist who fell in love with the Grisha? I'm just writing fanfiction at this point. I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but I think it's really interesting. And I think Jessie Maylie looks great as Alina right now. And then in regards to the Crow storyline, I don't know how much they're gonna overlap the Shadow and Bone storyline and the Crow storyline. Because I know that Lee has said on her Twitter that this is pretty much Shadow and Bone 1 and then Six of Crows 0. Like, we're seeing pretty much all the flashbacks from Six of Crows. So that's where we are gonna see Nia and Matthias, and we're gonna see them meet each other and their whole backstory. We're gonna start when Kaz has Jesper and Inej on his team already, so we're probably gonna get flashbacks in the show of when he met them, specifically when he finds Inej at the menagerie. But I don't know what their plot is gonna be because they're not gonna do the ice court heist here. Honestly, I'm just so like shocked right now. I can't believe it looks this good. Like, I was scared about the visual effects, but they look great. I was scared about the characters. From what we see of the story and the characters, they seem to be true to character at least. Now that I think about it, do we not see Nina here? Was it just that still that I saw on Twitter? The light in this last scene was kind of odd. I think it's just because the light is literally coming out of her. I don't know how I feel about that, but we're going outside because everything else looks really good so far. Like, obviously the show is called Shadow and Bone, but I'm just wondering how they're fitting Six of Crows into here. Maybe they're gonna provide more backstory into the drug. Parem is what it's called. So maybe we're gonna start seeing that development a little bit. The timeline in the books is that Six of Crows takes place at least like 3 years after the end of Siege and Storm, because Nina was a student with Zoya. I don't know if they're gonna keep that. I don't know if we're gonna see Nina as Zoya's student. Actually, no, we probably know that's not gonna be there, because at least Nina talks about going to like a refuge, like all the children, Grisha going to a refuge when the big war happened, the Ravkan War. Whereas it seems her story with Matthias is going on at the same time as everything else. I'm so excited. Like, there's just so much world to explore. That's what I really liked about Six of Crows, is that we took this world that was fairly narrowed in Shadow and Bone. We pretty much only focused on Ravka, and then it expanded so much to include all of these different lands and all the different influences and political and economic drives and motivations between the relationships. So it makes sense that we can have this entire show with all these interweaving storylines. Now I'm wondering how the show is gonna end. So the end of Shadow and Bone in the book is that we find the amplifier, the stag, correct? If I remember correctly. So that will probably be the end of the season for this one. We're gonna go through Alina working with the Darkling, training with Zoya, training with the other Grisha, befriending Genya. For the Six of Crows storyline, we're probably just gonna get a lot of like the mini heists. We're gonna start understanding more about how Ketterdam works. We're probably gonna get a little bit more newer stuff with that, I think, to see how they worked before the Ice Court shenanigan thing happened. Oh, I totally forgot. We're also probably gonna learn about Kaz's backstory and him and Jordy. So we're probably gonna have like 3 main storylines going on. So we're gonna have what's going on with Alina, and we're gonna have what's going on with Kaz, Inej, and Jesper, and then we're gonna have what's going on with Nina and Matthias and the Fury and Ravkin conflict. My prediction is I don't think that Nina and Matthias are gonna connect back to the Crows yet. I think it's gonna end when the Crows finally form. Actually, maybe not. You know, actually, I think it's gonna end where Kaz learns about the heist. Was it Van Eyck? I keep forgetting who these characters are. But that person offers him the deal and the money, and it's gonna end like that. That's my prediction. And then in season 2, the Crows are gonna form and go on their heist. We might have like a 4th storyline going on. I don't know if they're gonna do more with Mal, like show his perspective. Maybe not an entire storyline, but we're probably gonna cut to it a little bit and see what he's up to. Because I think we only learned about what he did in like the extra stuff that came with Shadow and Bone. At least in my copy, at the end there are these letters that Mal sent to Alina, the ones that I believe the Darkling hid from Alina, and it explains a lot about Mal's emotions, that he didn't realize how much he cared for Alina until she was gone. Considering that Mal and Alina are endgame, I think they're gonna show some of that too. Alright, I think those were all my thoughts. I'm sorry this was kind of jumbled, not really a lot of logic to my thoughts here. Usually I plan videos, but this one I just decided to make. But I'm excited. I have so much hope for this show now. I really hope it lives up to the expectations. At the very least, I think it'll be a good show, regardless of whether it's a good adaptation. And I think I'd be okay with that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.